I don't believe there are miracle stories in chiropractic. What I believe is that when you enhance physiology, great things can happen, but they're not miraculous. I think birth is a miracle. You know, how that happens, it blows my mind. But when normal physiology happens, great things can happen to the body. And so my late ex-wife had one of those stories, and the story goes something like this: we woke up on a New Year's Day after having spent New Year's Eve having fun, and she woke up unable to move her legs out of nowhere, and that just kind of shocked us. And so what do? I put her in the car and I take her to the local emergency room, and so we take her there and we admit her, and they do all the things. They image her and they medicate her and they inject her, and by about 3:30 in the afternoon there was absolutely no change in her condition at all. And they said, well, you got to go home and see what happens and then check in with your primary doctor the next day. So we go home quite discouraged, and here she is, this very vibrant woman who's able to move her legs. And so we get home and we do the normal things on New Year's Day. We call our friends, wish them Happy New Year. So I talked to one of my friends and I explained what our predicament was. And he says, why don't you call my chiropractor? And I had never been to a chiropractor before. And so I said, well, what is a chiropractor going to do that all these people in this hospital couldn't do? And he says, just call him. I said, but it's New Year's Day, so let's call him anyway. And so I did. I called him. And the interesting thing is that he answered his phone. And I could hear the kids in the background, and he was already at home. And I told him that his patient, my mutual friend, suggested I call him. I told him what our predicament was, and he says, well, why don't you meet me at 5:30 in the office? And so I said, well, where's your office, and how do I get there? And I'll see you tomorrow. He says, no, today, New Year's Day. And I thought that was really weird. A man would take away time from his family to meet someone he doesn't even know to see if he can help this woman whose legs don't move. So I put my wife back in the car, took her to the office, took her in, explained to him what was going on. He did an examination. He says, I'm going to take some x-rays. I had to hold her up so he could take the x-rays. He says, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for something in the spine which is interfering with the proper function of her legs. And if she has that, I can help. If she doesn't have it, I can't help. And so, well, at that point, what do we have to lose? So, of course, we did. He put her on this table that went up and down. Of course, I was not familiar with any of this stuff. And he puts her in this position, and he makes a snapping sound, and he snaps again, and he does this, and he does her neck, and she walks out. And I thought, holy cow, I mean, if that can happen to her, what could happen to me? So I became a patient of his, and we went every Friday for years until he passed away. And once he passed, we found somebody else. But that was in the back of my mind many, many years ago. Now I'm 39 years old, faced with a decision what I want to do. And I remember chiropractic, so I looked at chiropractic colleges. Fortunately, in the Bay Area, there were two. I picked one. I matriculated, and that's the story.